I'm Genevieve with Westside Food Bank. We are delighted to be part of the Reimagine Music and Arts Festival. To all the artists and musicians, congratulations and thank you for supporting Westside Food Bank. To find out more about our COVID-19 response, visit WSFB.org, where you can also make a donation. Every dollar provides food for 4 nutritious meals for so many more people who now need our help. Thanks so much for your support and enjoy the festival.
Yeah.
Hi, how's everybody doing? I'm Brian, aka Bird. I want to thank everybody for joining in to the Reimagine-virtual art walk, benefiting the Westside Food Bank. Reimagine. It's a great title. I've had to reimagine myself a few times over life, that's for sure. I started off as a baseball player, played baseball, and thought I was going to do that for the rest of my life. And then got an arm injury, and that kind of put a halt to that. Next thing I know, I found myself living in the Colorado Rockies, living the mountain life. And, you know, a lot of my art is inspired from the times that I spent in the mountains. You know, the connection with the majestic mountain ranges and the feeling of peace that nature, you know, brought to my soul, it's always stuck with me. And next thing you know, I worked for the railroad, engineer conductor. After that, I had no clue what I was going to do. I had to reimagine myself. Can you imagine that? If you can imagine that, you can reimagine it. So it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. That's actually when I found my creative side. And I dove right into it. You know, I started drawing, painting, faux painting. Then I got into woodworking. And when that happened, the thought of bringing them all together into one deal was so intriguing to me. So, and I've got a passion about, you know, preserving the environment. And so using repurposed materials was so perfect for me. So I started creating, you know, reclaimed accent walls, wainscoting, backsplashes, wall art, furniture. You know, my work takes me into people's homes. And that's my favorite part is hearing the customer's vision of what they're wanting. Then I put the BRD twist on it, a little twisty twist, you know, just to come up with their vision. But the best part is seeing their face when they see the final product. The joy that I brought them brings me joy. And that's what I'm all about. And using wood brings nature into people's homes, adding an organic presence to their daily life. Wood also allows me to work in the 3-dimensional aspect of my art. There's a natural depth and organic feel that you can actually touch. You know, now I'm exploring with different mediums, metal and wood and greenery. You know, it gives an organic feeling to you know, has a synergy, you know, to it. We're all living in strange, challenging times right now. Finding that loving peace within and projecting that outwards is so important right now. We have to do that. Find your creative side, no matter what it is. Find your passion, no matter what it is. And reimagine yourself. Let's focus on bringing joy and happiness back into people's lives. BRD Designs, Bird, I think we have a few mission pieces I'm going to do for the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. That's right, the Chiefs, baby. So tune in for that. That's going to be a fun project, and I'm looking forward to showing you the progress on that one for sure.
How did you get started on, and what's your process for finding reclaimed wood?
So actually, like when I first started, I started using, I saw what people were doing with pallets. And so I started off with pallets. I had like 300 pallets at my place. And finally got tired of like cutting all these pallets down, plus not knowing what was on them, this, that, and the other. So I started getting reclaimed materials from a sawmill and getting live edge materials and making my planks myself. I love having the texture on the wood. It brings out the grain, and instead of just being smooth, it gives it, you know, more organic feel with the textures on the woods. And I use that on accent walls and wainscoting and backsplashes. What they're showing right now is my company sign, prototype company sign. It was part of this whole deal where I'm trying to incorporate metal and wood and greenery into my pieces. So what you've got there, you've got metal in the background, you've got 2 layers of mountains in wood, then you have greenery, and metal is also the river. Plus I've got tree branches. I've got a thing with trees. That's what it is. So let's all deal with it. And but no, yeah, that's kind of what and that one there, that's one of my favorite pieces. I made that for a customer 4 years ago, maybe, something like that. They're both 6 foot tall, 2.5 feet wide. He's got to hang them in his house right now. That was actually in a gallery, but if you look closely, it's also a reversible canvas to where there's a human figure in it. There's also, I think, 3 or 4 arrows in it, and I've added some turquoise in there to make it pop. But like I said, it's reversible, so you can change it. If you're not feeling it anymore, you just change it around. It's pretty cool. And there's a table there that I made out of cedar, reclaimed cedar, and just used different painting techniques on it and stain to create that coffee table. There's another picture of, give you a size of how big they are, with me standing with them. And there you have the opposite view to where if you see there's a human figure, kind of like the drawing David. That's kind of what I came up with it on. But this piece was, oh, there it is. There's my bar. I love that bar. So this bar, I found somebody's house sitting out in the rain for 10 years, stripped it all down, refaced everything, but I kept the original metal banding around the edge of it. And I also put these metal tear outs in there just to do something different, you know, than whatever else I see out there. Of course, I'm an artist. I want to do things different than everybody else, but it gives it that 3-dimensional aspect too. And it's a cool little bar that you can have in the back of your house or in your garage or whatever, you know, any place that you have for it. Looking to see what picture comes up next here. There, that's so that's a house, that's a lake house. And so in this house I did rustic wainscoting all throughout the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. And just one of those things, they were just like, we want some grays, we want some browns, we want some dark browns, light browns, natural tones. And so that's the final product of some wainscoting I did on a lake house.
Okay, keep going.
And you can see it. And there, that's a airplane hangar. So this here, I actually built the whole lobby, framed it in, sheetrocked it, did the wainscoting, and that wainscoting there actually has the same metal tear outs as the bar you saw earlier. Next one, please. But yeah, that was a fun project because it's got a little bit of everything. It's got textured walls, and it's hard to see in that picture, but faux painted walls also. Now this one here is called Shipwreck. So imagine yourself out at sea. You're in a big storm, you get knocked out, and you come to, and you're looking through a hole in your hole. But hey, you're alive, you're safe, you're on rocky ground, you're on solid ground. Your ship is wrecked, but you're all right. So I'd like to do a whole series of Shipwreck, actually. And I did the same kind of tear out deals with wood on that one. Next slide, please. This one I call Flow of Abundance. It's a 4-canvas piece, and basically it looks like flowing water in every direction. And that's been a big thing in my life, is flow of abundance, flow of abundance, and just the law of attraction. And because we're all energy, and that's what we need to project, is happy, joyful energy into this world. There's a piece, this one here I just made from some leftover pieces that I had for an accent wall I did, just sitting around the shop. So I just kind of put together a piece. It's got a face in it. It's got ball diamonds in it because I'm a ball player. But it always reminds me, inspire to inspire. What can I do to make things better in my life and anybody's life around me, just from positivity. Next slide, please. That one there. Oh, we flipped two. So yeah, there we go. The Chiefs, baby, Mahomes. So that's made out of wood with different colored stains. That's my tribute to Mahomes, and it's a little taste of what you're going to get on the Super Bowl piece that I'm going to make. I'm going to add Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to have Andy Reid in it, and of course the trophy. We'll see what else comes of it. Next slide, please. Yeah, that one there, I call that Heaven and Home. There's an H in the middle. It's using different colors. I love blues and turquoise. And also, that's leftover pieces from an accent wall I did. And so I just took those and created that one. Next slide, please. Aha, my guitar, mess that sucker. But I love that guitar holder there. So that's the same thing. Leftover pieces from an accent wall that I did, and I created a guitar holder for myself. The very top of it's got a live edge on it. I love using live edge on stuff. It's got the texture and the feel of nature, organic. And I love that, bringing it into your home. Next slide, please. That's a piece I did for a lake. It's called Lakewood. And yeah, a customer came to me and was like, hey, I'd like you to make me a piece of the lake. So that one there, it's like everything's hand drawn. I cut everything out by hand. Lakewood is cut out and also 3D. And then I put a nautical sign on it. That was a fun piece. There, that one, that's the mountains. I love the mountains. And so it's a double, the back range of the mountains is cut out of wood. Then I painted it. And I put another layer of mountains in front of it and used greenery and using the metal as the lake there. So it's a mountain lake kind of a scene. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. There we go. There's another mountain scene. And that's kind of what inspired this one behind me. I love the aspect of cutting out a big tree and then having the depth of it. So it's got two layers of mountains. It's got metal in the back and also the tree.
Thank you for coming to my stream.
Well, thank you for coming to my stream. Everybody check out BRD Designs on Facebook, BRD_designs on Instagram. I want to thank everybody behind the scenes that's made this happen. Without you, it's not even possible. So thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, spread that love. Find your passion. Reimagine yourself. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Here we are. Welcome to Under a Pepper Tree. This is a poetry and prose and musical experience. This is an open mic we created under a pepper tree to create community with artists around our community. So we're going to have a number of our artists read today, and we have a lineup of about 11 people. Kirsten, I'm Audrey Stimson, by the way, and my partner is Kirsten Zilm. Kirsten?
Okay, I'm Kerstin, and so we start our lineup today for this wonderful event that we're very happy that you're doing this and that we can be part of it. And to take us all into this open mic, please, Nai, open it up. Thank you. Awesome. Nice. And anybody can put some comments in the chat, and if you think of something and what you wanted to say to what you heard, if a line maybe resonated with you or whatever you want to do. But we're gonna keep it a little fast so as many as possible can read or perform. And next up is Audrey.
This poem is called Cross the Threshold. If I let myself take flight, where would I go? Would I lift myself up, climb over my illusions and straight into the storm, to the spot where it really hurts, letting my bubble burst so I could fall out of the sky? I wall myself in, I hide behind my self-righteous anger. I suck at the blood from the scrapes on my knees, telling myself it will be okay as I crawl over the shards of my comfortable existence and back to sleep. The sirens wake me. The pull of the outrage sucks my awareness out of the slumber and onto the streets. Barely awake, I stumble through my emotions, tripping over my fear, tussling with my frustration, bumping into my disgust and pushing past my self-pity. I search for my shoes. The soles are broken and worn from the miles I've walked, past the bones of the ancestors of our first peoples, past the cages of the stolen ones, past the ruined cities and past the cardboard shelters of the forgotten, past the police tape, past the empty bump stocks and the gurneys, past the gates of the castles that remain shut, past the armed sentinels with shields on their breasts, past all the signs that told me something ain't right. I lean over, bending down low to tie my laces and pull up my socks. I cover myself with determination and a mask that protects me. I pick up a sword. I lift my wrath out from my heart and over my head. I stand ready to burn and tear down everything that is holding me captive. I pull on my t-shirt with a slogan that screams as loud as my pounding heart. I open the door, I stammer, I yell, I howl, I wait, and I listen. I taste the dirty tea of my past. I swallow, I hesitate. I feel hope slip out of me and fall to the ground. I pick it up. I breathe. I can breathe. I step. I cross this threshold out of myself and into action.
Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. And next up is Michaela.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michaela. I am from Michaela Tango, Make LA Tango in Culver City. So this is a poem also, and it's called Over There. The yellow rainy boots and the blue and white Adidas, the thin legs and the polo shirt, the dark skin, the deep wrinkles, the huge smile, the contagious laugh. That was my dad. A dark hair, snow white, ideas, poems, books, reviews, a prolific misunderstood artist, a broken body in a magnificent soul. That was my sister. Polka dots on a white skirt, huge gold earrings robbed on the street, 50 gold bracelets stolen by the caregiver, a gold wedding ring, huge brown eyes with long eyelashes, a beauty spot next to her full lips. That was my grandma. Light brown guayabera shirts, piano practices every day, a cigarette on his hand, an intellectual quote, a concertist. That was my grandfather. Death on the hands of institutionalized racism. In this world, when we are everything and nothing, I'd found myself honoring our people who transitioned. Too many people, too much pain, too much injustice. Whatever I'm doing is not enough. My life is beating a sick heart. A tree loses its leaves and I'm a witness. A shadow of a butterfly circumnavigating around me. Reimagining myself not here, but there. Might be better, less painful, more company. I can sing and dance without being sanctioned. I can love, be loved, and hugged with no norms. Maybe over there is easier than here. Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you for sharing this. Awesome. Gali.
Okay. Reimagine. I was asked to reimagine 2020. And as I sat at my desk, I realized I don't want to. I don't want to reduce this monumental year. While so many suffer out there, I won't imagine a peaceful scene right here. The year 2020 shoulders the weight of centuries of racism, fear, and hate. I will not minimize the magnitude of this struggle, nor the pressure to reform this unjust state. I will not gloss over this moment with a paintbrush of expediency. No, I do not care to reimagine 2020. It's wrong to hold on only for the point to tip again. I don't want to wait for yet another time when change is forced. Today I'm voting with my neighbors, all of us who believe in equality and accord. And when I do decide to imagine, it will be for 2021. My child, you ask, then what's worth imagining? I cry, a revolution, public servants returning from beyond the pale. I'll imagine demands are heard and enacted, and tolerance planted forever in an absolute acceptance rooted that we are all one, yet not all the same. And we will hold hard those desires together for unity, not domination, dominion, code, or gain. And when the dust settles and the smoke dissolves, I want to imagine a resolution that will rise in immensity for 2021 to encompass us all as we sail windward, through, and onward beyond 2020's shattered veil. Thank you.
Thank you, Gali. Thank you. Ooh, okay. It's a shame that we rushed through this a little bit. It's all like, we need some more time to let it set in. But okay, next up, Robert.
He's still muted.
Should I unmute you, Robert? For some reason, it doesn't. So can you? Okay, no.
Yep, there.
Yeah, there you go.
So what I said was, it's always good to follow Gali. So here we go. Sometimes the blues. Sometimes the blues is all there is. Black blues, brown blues, white girl mojoing some down-home way of whispering to your heart. That old suitcase of despair, your finger tapping on your knee at the bus terminal. Public in a way all identity is stripped. Your lips now willing to let it pass. Sometimes the blues is your head in your hands, elbows on your thighs, the whys of nothing going nowhere. Silence moves, disconnected thoughts, the clock ticks, all the poetry's lost. Sometimes the blues is the death of a child. Grief runs wild. Why my child? The blues is forever. The heart breaks. Never again takes its place. Sometimes the blues is me. I'm alone. Sometimes the blues is we. You're at home. Time and space estrangements, custody arrangements, always saying, you did what? Sometimes the blues is what is not. When the blues becomes what you've got nothing left to lose, then the blues becomes the news, and the news runs through you. Out on the dance floor, the rhythms of living are in pelvic thrust. Electric air, hair flies, women slung low. The sub-bass beats the underside of audio. Big mirrored balls shattered, light fractured, raised. Men pump, arms raised, praise to the scatter of light, the shatter, the right, the glory of horns. A sax blows low alto, booze and ooze, the secretory miracles of women. The cocks slide side to side. The flat of my palms guide her hips, pursed lips, hands fanned. The spirit is among us. We're anemones in the current.
Bravo, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Carol.
Yep.
Hi, Carol.
Hi,
Good to see you.
Nice to see you, Carol.
everybody. So I'm going to do a song that I did not write. Richie Havens wrote it. And first time I ever heard it, it's on the Grace of the Sun CD, which came out in 2004. And it just knocked me out, and I want to do it for you now. It's called Pulling Up the Stone. To pull the stone up, it takes believing to change directions. to tell the truth is what they fear. All of us here can change tomorrow. To have a vision, we all must stand still. Simple decision to kill the lie, to stop the clock is what they fear. All of us here can change today. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be who you are. Say what you're feeling. Say what you're feeling. To let the storm down means we are failing. To let the truth be ever revealing. To stop the slavery we all feel. All of us here can change right now.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Carol. Beautiful. Constant, your turn.
Hi. So started my timer, got 2 quick poems. Today is the anniversary of D-Day, which impacted my family. My grandpa had a lot of PTSD from that day, so I wanted to read this poem I wrote about it. It's called Transference. I wondered if he ever killed a man, littering their gray felt and flesh with sutured rosebuds, and if the idea of it hung from him like a butcher's blade on a wall, just as my hands hang like hammers at my side. Often I'd wander through Paris fleas, scanning yellowed photos, wondering if I'd find his face frozen in youth, both of us standing in the same place at different moments in time. And today we gathered wildflowers for some unseen grave on top of 200-foot cliffs overlooking beaches of Normandy. And when the tide inhaled itself, we skated across dark algal stones to washed out enemy bunkers turned sea caves, their arches expansive above us like straining ox necks. And we made a field of our bodies against the rock. And right as she turned to look at me, as I cupped the side of her face in my palm, right at that exact moment, a continent away, my grandmother sat up in her bed, her hand touching her cheek, and called out to her empty little room, "Is that you? Is that you, my love?" Thank you. So this next one I'll read quickly.
Don't worry about rushing. Take your time.
I wanted to read something about what's happening now. My girlfriend is from France, and she's stuck there due to COVID, and her family fled there from a genocide in Africa. And just right now, we're kind of deciding that maybe this is kind of an unsafe place for us to start a family, you know? And so I wrote a poem about it. It's called Knowing Nothing. I know that to ask her this is to ask her to drop everything and join me in a burning house, my calls echoing past the sticky jazz bar where we met, where I had no words for her beauty, where I forgot language in a city her family fled to escape extermination, the history she wears and the scars latticed across her resilient chest. My horrible pleas echoing across the pond, asking her to undo the footprints of her ancestors, to walk backwards in time over water across a sea to my land of genocide, where knees wait for necks and skin is a voucher for bullets, that I cannot leave because truly I know nothing else and I know nothing, where I'll never have the right words to whisper to our child falling asleep in a quiet room, who I think about as she braids my hair and gets frustrated at its straightness, its inability to respond to the intricate weavings of her fingers, in that quiet room where I'm trying not to be silent and trying not to be too loud, where I scream anyway, asking her to come to this land soaked with the sweat of so many bodies, this land I'm tethered to by blood and others' oppression, stained with the brains of my Hebrew ancestor who shot himself with the gun that won the West, but this land where I'll never truly get it, where I was called a race traitor and still can't scratch the surface of the heavy dirt of an entire continent that I'm asking her to heave onto her back simply by breathing foreign air, air that fills my lungs as I scream loud enough that my unborn child hears me saying I'm sorry, as he wades through history and time to find a living, where he waits to be received by the dirty Kevlar bassinet of a riot cop's gloved hands. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Constant. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Carmen.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that we are all doing as best as we can to deal with these waves of change as they are coming rapidly. They're coming from stacks. They're coming from sets. They're coming in deep, 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 deep crevices that we have been needing to clear and see. So thank you for inviting me here to your space and sharing space. This one's called I'm Tired. Back and forth, I'm tired. Pulling in and out of my soul, I'm tired. The terror and worry of today is dead and torn, I'm tired. For their colors were too dark for blue and olive demons, I'm fucking tired. Come to the places of darkness only whites know, and it's created evil, I'm tired. Bold lines drawn, captured, to have us trapped, back to set us back, wet and snatched with babies on our backs where papers lay. I'm wet and I'm tired, illegal, stolen, vocabulary that isn't mine unfolding, nothing but cold stares and anti-Black rhetoric from the pale-faced allied claimed friends. I'm tired. My homosexual tendencies drenched in holy waters. I'm tired. By my mother, still under the spell of those who know how to frighten her. I'm tired. Regardless, it comes from a place of love to not have my soul burn farther because I'm tired. Down into the alleys of hell where my papers don't matter. From a $20 lollipop, I'm getting the short end of that deal because I'm tired. Toe to toe with the space in sight. The Treaty of Hidalgo still haunts me at night. Why does the pen have so much power? Damn, all this inherited sin that isn't mine put on me makes me want to vomit and never take another step towards the future because I'm tired. What if those papers burned and none of them mattered? Can we imagine a place full of peace, or will the world continue to be shattered? Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Shishe.
All right, since it took that long for that, we'll just get started. We're on the time. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Imagine the possibilities if we could live life in peace. Coming together, strengthening to stormy weather. Stop taking, stop giving, stop buying into the war machine. Imaginary lines drawn in the sand is planning a line. People are crying, take a stand. The song of peace, the song of joy, the song of hope, the song of beauty, the song of resistance, the song of persistence, the song of understanding, the song of love. What does it take to snap out of this trance? The fork in the road is screaming, screaming. Where are we headed? Do we understand? This world is not owned by any one man. Resources depleting, people are dying, while other politicians keep on lying. To the people they present to represent all that money spent, all that money spent, all that money spent. We are all just pieces in the puzzle. We are all just pieces in the puzzle. We are all just pieces in the puzzle. The song of peace, the song of joy, the song of hope, the song of beauty and now, the song of resistance, the song of persistence, the song of our understanding, the song of understanding, the song of love, the song of love. The song of So I hope everyone in the world understands this is one of the most important moments in all of our lives. This is Shishay. Peace out. God bless the world.
Yay, Shishay. And Shishay, you were the last on the live feed. So you closed us out. So we started and ended with music. So with
I'm very humbled and honored to be able to finish this session. Thank you.
So I'm just going to have one that I was going to read, and that is we can talk together after I read this, and if you want to stay in the Zoom room for a little bit or switch over to the YouTube channel, I would recommend that. A lot of interesting, cool stuff is coming up, music and more workshops and all kinds of things of this. But here goes my piece, and it is not written by me. It is written by a young Black man that I worked with 826LA. I don't know, some people might know this. 826LA is a writing support group for students. And I can only recommend it if you want to get involved in some things, to join them and to support young people to write their stories, 826LA. And this was for a young author book project that they have almost every year. And I was working with one class on the book When the Moon is Up. This was the book. And the young man's name, so that was in 2017, and Braxton Johnson wrote this piece. It's an excerpt from his Thoughts of a Polluted Mind. And he's a senior, was a senior at Locke High School in Watts. Kings, queens, gold, land, blood, sweat, and tears, mud thrown on us, dirt kicked towards us, words strong as steel that damaged us, history that crippled us, yet still we walk towards a yet better future. Incomplete knowledge leads us to be committed to half change, the fear of failing or dying. Forgetting history stops us from standing up for what's right. When will we take a stand without breaks? Stop being zombified by the media, taking away the dreams we lived for. The eyes of a young black, brown man, woman in the slums are on drugs, money, and jewels to make it out. Following the shell of murder, gunpowder turns one into the brute you already think we are. Communication breakdown creates confusion that turns into pointless violence. The touch from our loved one is lost. Lack of guidance, we try to grow too fast to survive in this cold jungle. The invisible chains we all wear, keeping us in order. When will we take a stand without breaks? Who is the man Jesus that we pray to? Is it the ship we rode here in shackles, or is it a white man with blonde hair, blue eyes? How come when I search up God in Google, it's a white man? Police used as mindless minions, feeling as though they are here to protect but only keeping us in check for the higher ups, not following the sense of their own justice. Judges are granted the power as gods, choosing if a person should live or die. How can one be granted such a power? The president is only a face, not making actual changes, but causing disaster to others, making foreigners who rebel looking for justice to be seen as terrorists. Wouldn't we have done the same? Our country is corrupted and other countries know that. There is no change. There is more hate because we always lose. Control is what the so-called enlightened want. Illuminated by darkness, greed at their throats, they'll do anything to keep their power and status. When will we take a stand without taking a break? That was by Braxton Johnson. And that concludes this open mic.
Yay.
Yay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. You can unmute yourself.
You can unmute yourself.
Yay! Now we can say whatever the fuck we want. Oh.
You could have always said whatever the fuck you want.
I just said it. That's all. It was really nice being a part of this.
Nice.
Nai, did you want to read something? Do you have some words you want to read? Or you, no? Okay.
I've gone nonverbal, and I've really, for me, it's really like personally, it's about listening. And so in my own feed, I've been reposting, Wynton Marsalis's thoughts and stuff like that. So I don't have anything that I prepared.
But Carol?
That she's like the lady in the movie The Piano. She only speaks through her instruments.
For the moment, it seems that way, Carol.
Beautiful flute. I loved it.
Thank you.
Stolen vocabulary isn't mine. Oh, I love that line.
It's called a Mayan flute. I've got a few of these.
Mayan
flute. Yeah.
Really cool.
They're double. Made by a artist in Orange County.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you want to share anything about events or anything that you would like to share with our group?
Me?
Anything coming at anybody?
I have a writers group that meets weekly. It's writers, musicians, and visual artists, which meets on Saturdays. And I'm going to restart Vitality Jam, which can be like spoken word and music on Sundays.